Hey everybody, Ryan Carson here. Wanted to give you some tips and tricks for potentially saving the probate tax, or estate administration tax as it now is called. Just to make sure everybody knows, that is a 1.5% administrative tax that the government levies on any estate assets in the province of Ontario. So for example, if you had net assets of your estate at a value of $1 million at 1.5% tax, you'd have $15,000 of administrative tax to pay to the court for that estate. So some tips and tricks to potentially minimize or avoid this tax altogether are as follows. One, you can have it set up so that bank accounts that are currently owned just by one person could have joint ownership. So if you have joint ownership on a bank account with somebody else and you pass away and that other person is surviving you, and the intention is for that person to be the one to inherit all that money, that is a tip or a trick to avoid any sort of estate administration tax. The other thing that you could do as a tip or a trick is with any real estate property that you have, whether it's a personal home or a investment property or cottage, but it's real estate property, if you only own it in a single name as a sole owner, or you own it with somebody else but you own it not as a joint tenant but as a tenant in common on your deed, if you change that ownership to joint tenants, you all have to be equal owners. So if there's two of you, 50%, three of you, a third, four, a quarter, and so forth. So equal ownership has to be applied in those situations of joint tenancy. And with that, there would be a survivorship when one or all the parties die, except one person. That surviving joint tenancy owner of the real estate property will be the sole owner then of the property, and thus the property would not have any sort of estate administration tax on its value.